My guilty pleasure game is Call of Duty Advanced Warfare campaign. And what, it's just hilarious that the lead in that game is just Kevin Spacey for one thing. But I will say the the action sequences in that game are like pretty much the best ones. And I know that game, I think a lot of people hate on that game because the multiplayer was so weak, but whoa, that campaign, I will never get rid of that PS4 game. It was so well done. It was really awesome, and it's pretty short. It's a great time. Good fun. And if you like those like actiony campaigns that are just like kind of mindless, give this a go. It's awesome. It's definitely my one of my top guilty pleasures for sure.
So I would say my first one, the Tropico games are not the most popular games in the world, and they are basically island builders. You're building little towns. They have really fun stories to them where you're basically like a kind of like a Cuban dictator-esque sort of character trying to build your town up. And if you've played any of these Sim City sort of games, they're all kind of similar in like a disaster will happen and you have to build back up your buildings and you have to organize it so that products can be moved from mines to... It sounds so boring. I'm even boring myself talking about it, but when you're playing it, it's so engaging and so much fun. Everything I do has to be super symmetrical, so I find ways to make sure everything is like the same on both sides. I don't know. I feel kind of guilty for enjoying it, but there's been 6 of them. I think the last one was Tropico 6, so I'm not the only one that's buying them. Hopefully, nope. Other people are. So if you're watching this, put something in the comments. Let me know that you're also playing Tropico 6 too, so I don't feel like I'm a loser.
My first pick would probably be EDF. Are you guys familiar with Earth Defense Force?
Oh,
they are the definition of a guilty pleasure. They are so fun. They're like a B-movie shooter, if there is such a thing. You're these characters, you've got jetpacks, sometimes you can fly and you get different guns, but you are shooting huge ants. And these huge ants just move through this world and you shoot them. And then you blow up buildings, and then bigger ants come, and it's like these huge monsters. And I wonder why they do not put huge monsters like this in more video games, because it's really awesome. And you just get swarmed, and then you get like nukes and all different sorts of crazy guns, and you go underground in their hive. And it's just the most brain dead, not very good looking shooter games. But these ants are so huge, and the characters keep screaming, EDF, EDF. So that like an hour or two into it, you're going to start screaming EDF, EDF. And they just keep pumping out these games like every year or two. And they're just so generic. And I can't, and they're awful, and I love them.
The 361 always pops into my mind. And it's just like the graphics looking like Sega Saturn over there. Yep. It was just like
Insect Armageddon. Huge fan.
Oh yeah. I mean, I know people loved it. I was working at GameStop at the time, and people would come in and ask for it all the time. I'm like, what the heck? This game is like, what is this rando game?
It's a guilty pleasure for sure.
Definitely is. My next guilty pleasure has to be AEW Fight Forever. Now, this is my first kind of soiree into the wrestling scene. And the reason why I have this game to begin with is because I thought I was going to get a job with AEW. So I had a brilliant idea. I was like, instead of just going online and reading about these wrestlers, I can buy this game for $40. I was like, holy, this is already a big price tag. It was on sale. And I could just like learn all the wrestlers that way. So I was in there playing with the wrestlers, doing different matches. And then all of a sudden, it was starting to click with me. I kind of dig this game. And it was like, and I was like, is this game actually good? And I had to go online, and I was like, and people are just dogging on this game. Like,
isn't it famously kind of glitchy, or no? Is this another one?
It is. I think it's pretty glitchy. It like some stuff, you'll hit a button and it's just like unresponsive. Like just stuff will not happen. But I feel like it's kind of fun. Like it's still like you can, out of nowhere, you'll just do like an awesome power move and just like, give him the DDT and just give him the elbow. Like, I just think it's fun, like good wrestling. Like, definitely doesn't take a whole lot of skill. So you can just kind of button mash out there and you'll get something out of it. And I find myself probably just turn it on, get some wrestling under the belt, probably get some frustrations out. But that is definitely one of my guilty pleasures of the bunch.
So mine, this one definitely I wouldn't even put in a guilty pleasure, but if you put a Dungeons and Dragons themed game in front of me, I will play it. So, I mean, certainly Baldur's Gate 3, I don't think anyone would consider a guilty pleasure, but what I do feel guilty about is playing it for 140 hours and then finishing it and thinking, I would like to build another character and play it all through again. So I feel guilty about that. But if you put any of these games in front of me, I will play it, like Pillars of Eternity or, I talked last week about the Tides of Numeria, which I haven't played yet, but I own. And there are some other ones here that I wrote down so I don't forget. Pathfinder Kingmaker, and then Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. Both of those I put in like 110, 120 hours at minimum on both of those.
Nice.
All of those
You're getting
games,
your money's worth. You're getting your money's worth.
I'm definitely getting my money's worth. And again, I don't feel guilty for playing them, but I feel guilty for playing them so much. So that's where it kind of like fits in the guilty pleasure sort of category. But they're so much fun. I want to play them right now. I want to quit this pod right now and play them. That's how much they
Mid pod, just shut it down.
Yeah,
Go play it.
shut it down. So yes, those would be my choice.
Awesome. Right on. For my last pick, I will say is Plants vs. Zombies. Have you guys, not the old school like 360 arcade game where you like had the thing shooting. EA made 3 shooters and I love them all, but I've been playing them all and I'm currently on the last one. So they made Garden Warfare 1, 2, and then Battle for Neighborville. And these things are criminally overlooked. Yes, they look a little bit fun, but or kiddie, but they're super fun. And the characters that you unlock are like really varied, and they've got all these different powers. And essentially, it's built like a live service game. So every month, you have like almost like a battle pass that you have to get through. And they focus on 4 characters, 2 zombies and 2 of the plants. And you have to master those characters, and you unlock each one of them every week. And then you have to go in the battles and do all these objectives and stuff like that, all the while earning these bulbs to unlock everything. And it is, especially on Xbox, it is awful. Like there are times where the game will just crash out of nowhere. You'll lose audio. They've got this one bug where the enemies completely disappear. And when these things happen, you lose all your XP when you leave from that match. So it is an awful game from that respect. But it is so fun month after month to go in there, see what's new, see what's unlocked, do different skins, and it's kind of silly, and it's just a fun, good time shooter, and it's on Game Pass. So I highly recommend any of you who have Game Pass, if you need a new shooter and you just want to shoot someone in the face, this is a great game to do it in.
Hell yeah.
Nice. We'll have to try it out. Maybe this time you'll invite me to play one of the games.
Maybe. We'll see.